Hi, I'm Tony Constantine, an investment advisor representative with LifeMark Securities Corp. This week we're going to talk about the change being in the air. What am I talking about? Well, we live in a very interesting time. In fact, it's so interesting we can actually call it a revolution, a digital revolution. And what's so important about it is that things are happening so fast nowadays that we often fail to keep up with what's happening and how it affects us. So we're going to talk about that today. Now, first, let's take a look at jobs. Now, the jobs and the effect of the digital revolution on jobs is just being felt now, the tip of the iceberg, as you'd call it. And it's had an extra push because of the pandemic. We didn't realize or understand what was going on because there was so much focus on the pandemic, and rightfully so. However, when we take a look at jobs and our attitudes towards jobs these days, we find that people, once they realized that they could work from home, they had more flexibility in their schedules, they didn't have to spend time and money in commuting back and forth to work, they found that they had more satisfaction with their personal and family life and a better quality of life. And many have decided that they're going to look for jobs now that allow them to work from home and work remotely rather than going into the office every day. Granted, there's benefit to being in the office once a week or so, but not necessarily every day, at least for many, many people. Secondly, we have people who were nearing or at retirement age, and because of the way the market has been going up and up and up, they decided to go ahead and take the plunge. I heard it was 4 million in September alone. Now, how accurate that number is, who knows? I don't know how that would even be counted. Anyway, people have retired, and there is room for new people to replace them. Unfortunately, those new people train for some other job, not that job, so they don't have the necessary knowledge or skill sets. Now, is that the fault of education? I'm not sure, but we're going to talk about education in a minute. In the meantime, let's talk a little bit about the investment side of things. I think investing is going to be changing over the next few years too. Instead of all these investments in large companies, ponderous companies that have reached a point of diminishing returns these days without huge capital investment, there's many opportunities in smaller companies, technology-based companies, that they can increase their productivity by adding new people or some additional technology much more cheaply than a big facility. It's just big is not necessarily better anymore. Smaller companies are scalable. Productivity can be easily increased by the use of computers. And so it's much cheaper to add a few good program coders than it is to build a facility. Plain and simple, and the profitability goes up. Now let's take a look at education. Education, we're failing our people and our society by focusing on the wrong things. We need to teach those people who can think and have that ability to actually think, both deductively and inductively. The difference being inductive thinking is often called thinking outside the box. We don't have enough people doing that. We need more people who have the attitude that, gee, it's impossible to do that. So here's how we're going to do it. It's not just a question of attitude, it's attitude with the right skills in thinking. Secondly is communication, advertising, and access to information. So many people today seem to think, particularly in the media, that their opinions are more important than facts. They keep trying to harangue us with rather than give us the facts of what happened, with their opinions and their narrative on what happened and how you should interpret it, rather than trusting you to be able to think through and get your own conclusions. I think that's the wrong way to go about it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, my contact information will be on screen in a moment. Come back next week for our next exciting episode. In the meantime, make every day a great day.